So here's what we do. We have last time I checked, we had 49 followers on YouTube.
Yes.
All of you 49 plus anybody else this week that signs up, we will have a drawing next week on the live show here on Sunday night. And the winner of that drawing will receive a free OHIO podcast Hang On Sloopy t-shirt. There it is. We have them from small all the way up to 5X for us big fellas, okay? So don't you worry about that. And all you have to do to be in the drawing is just subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then that'll automatically put you in the drawing. And then next Sunday, we will draw a winner for that t-shirt as our way of celebrating the new partnership with Fansided and Scarlet in Game and all of you there who are following us on YouTube. All right. That being said, let's jump into our first topic of the evening tonight. Here we go, Chris. Ranking Ohio State's 2023 road games. They have 6 of them this year. Yeah. This is the first time since we think 1896 since we've had 6 road games. Here's what's also very interesting about this. Half of those are in the state of Indiana, yes. South Bend, West Lafayette, and Bloomington. Okay. We also go to Madison, Wisconsin. We go to Ann Arbor, Michigan. And we also go to Piscataway, New Jersey. All right. So those are our 6 road games this year that we will be having. And I want to know, Chris, let's rank them from easiest to hardest. All right. Now, we also did a Facebook poll a few hours ago. We've gotten a really good response from that in just, I think, 4 or 6 hours, something like that, since it's been up 4 hours. And we're going to reveal those after we do this. But let's start with number 6, the easiest road game for Ohio State in 2023, Chris.
For me, it's got to be Rutgers. I mean, Schiano's made some improvements down there, and it's a decent and improving team, but you know, the Buckeyes by early November should right any of the wrongs that they've got going on, the little bugs that may come with having a bunch of new starters. And let's face it, you know, Rutgers has some horses, but Ohio State's got thoroughbreds, and that's the difference. I see this being an easy win for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have them at number 5. I actually have probably your number 5 at number 6, and that's Indiana, the trip to Bloomington.
Yes.
Now, I understand why you might have them at number 5 because of some history of being some close games there. But I will tell you this much. We will overrun that stadium. And it's the kickoff of the season. That kind of gives me a little first game of the year on the road.
Conference opener.
Yeah, but I still think we go in there and we handle them. You look at Indiana's roster, it sucks.
It does, Eric, but we're going in there with a new quarterback, at least 3 new starting offensive linemen. I know it's Indiana, but you know what? We're going to probably make some mistakes early. Until things get ironed out and until they get used to playing together. And while it should be a fairly easy game, and obviously I think this is an easy win for Ohio State, like you said, season opener, conference opener, you've got a coach who's going to be on the hot seat coming into this season, I think. There's a lot of reason that Indiana needs to go out there and prove themselves, and I think could possibly, I think it could be a close game at the half, but I think Ohio State probably pulls away.
All right, so we flip-flop 5 and 6, but that brings us to number 4, Chris.
I debated on this, but I got to go with Purdue. Now, Purdue's a team that historically has given the Buckeyes a little bit of trouble. While Ohio State dominates the season or the series over the last 15 games, Purdue does have 5 wins in the last 15 games. All 5 of those wins did come at West Lafayette. The last time the Buckeyes visited West Lafayette was in the 2018 season. I'm pretty sure we all remember what happened then. They've got a good young quarterback coming in the Texas transfer, Hudson Card, rather. He was a highly recruited 4-star out of Lake Travis High School in 2020, ranked as the 59th best player in the nation at that time. Second best dual threat quarterback, which is another thing that tends to give Ohio State a little bit of trouble from time to time, is those dual threat quarterbacks. He's got a pretty experienced offensive line and some decent skill players, not great, but decent. Uh, and I think the Buckeyes could again have their hands full for a part of the game, but again, I think this is an Ohio State win.
I agree with you, Chris. That's number 4 for me. Now, there's some history there, and
Definitely
last time we went to West Lafayette, Indiana, it was not a good trip.
cost us
That
a
I
run at the CFP.
Yes, it did, and they had everything going for them that night with the young man who was on.
Yes,
His life was coming to a close, and he just motivated that team, that entire university, that entire stadium. And once that momentum started going downhill, there was nothing we could do to stop it. That was a bad night for Ohio State, but. So yeah, there's a little bit of PTSD for Buckeye fans there, a little bit, absolutely. All right, that brings us to the big 3. There are 3, and I think everybody agrees who number 1's going to be, probably just based off the last history of the last couple of years. But the next 2 are arguments both ways. So I'm interested to get what number 3 is for you. Is it Wisconsin or is it Notre Dame?
oh, it's Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman did start off a little rough at the beginning of last season, finished with a respectable record. Took the Buckeyes to the limit in Columbus last year. And really, there's a lot of great storylines in this game. I mean, are we going to have a styles clash? You've got Lorenzo and Sonny both could see time on the field there. You've got the former Buckeye Javante John Baptiste over there. Is he going to be a game changer for Notre Dame? You got the little animal returning home. Is that going to have an impact on the game? How is the offensive coordinator Tommy Rees leaving for Alabama going to impact the Irish? So it's a team with Notre Dame is a team with a lot of good returning talent. I think they've got probably the gem of the free agent class, if you will, in getting Wake Forest transfer Sam Hartman to come in and lead that offense, um, playing quarterback. So, playing at Notre Dame anytime is no walk in the park. And I think that Notre Dame's going to be highly motivated. But I do see the Buckeyes being up to the challenge.
So the recent history is that we're dominating this series.
Yes.
They had a brand new head coach coming into the Horseshoe, and they played a doggone good game. I felt we were very conservative in that game, trying to feel out who
Yes.
we were as a team a little bit. We
Yeah.
had high expectations. Those expectations were kind of not met at first.
Right.
By the end of the season, we were, especially in that bowl game, we were hitting on all cylinders. But that first game, it was kind of a little bit wonky. I
Yeah.
don't know what to expect this season, to be honest. And so going into there, we will at least have a couple games under our belt. I think 3. I think that's the 4th game
Yes.
of the season. It'll be the second road game after Indiana, and Indiana's atmosphere will be nothing like what it will be in South Bend. But I don't know that Notre Dame is in a good place as a program right now. They're
Yeah.
losing some coaches left and right. Although they've got a really good recruiting class, that recruiting class is going to be very young, obviously. So they're all going to be freshmen. I don't know how much you can depend on true
And
freshmen.
And you could see some flips, Eric, that may have been attached to these coaches that have left.
You could. You could also see that they've got an incoming quarterback from Wake Forest.
Yeah.
And he's going to come in with super high expectations. But with a new offensive coordinator, I don't know what to
Right.
expect.
Exactly.
So I just feel this one doesn't scare me as much as the other road trip with a new head
Yeah.
coach, Madison, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell's never had the backing of a fan base, school, atmosphere, you name it, like he will have in Madison. Now, he did for Ohio State in 2011, but he was so inexperienced then. He is a completely different coach
And
now.
that was a program in turmoil. It truly was, with everything going on, Eric. Like you said, this is an experienced, very good Luke Fickell, who is a head coach. He's returning some pretty good talent. You got the running backs coming back, and they had a pair of great running backs. He's brought in some quality players through the portal, including a few Cincinnati guys who know his system. Uh, you know, we both think Luke Fickell is going to go out and be coach of the year this next year in the Big Ten. I think we agreed upon that. He's going to go in there. I think he has the potential to have only one blemish on his record, that being the game against Ohio State. He's got a fairly easy schedule for the most part outside of Ohio State. I think everything's setting up very well for Luke Fickell. And I'll tell you right now, if Ohio State sleeps on Luke Fickell, they are going to be in for the fight of their lives.
Yes, they are. This one scares me a little bit. Now, here's how I came to my decision to put the road game in Madison over South Bend. If I were to put Wisconsin and Notre Dame head to head on a neutral field, who do I think would win? I think Wisconsin's going to win that football game.
I agree. I think it's Fickell. Fickell is the difference in that game.
And the running game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, I know Notre Dame had a decent running game this year, but
that
was because
great running backs coming back.
Yes, Wisconsin, and with the change of philosophy that they're going to have offensively.
Yes.
I mean, I've been saying it for decades. If Wisconsin had anything of a passing game, they would be a national contender.
And look out for those running backs who are both decent pass catchers to make a huge impact in the passing game. Those wheel routes that we seem to hate so much that we can't defend, you're going to see them out of Wisconsin, I think, with this new offensive coordinator.
Which makes number one the trip to the team up north in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and it has to be. I mean, you look at this, Eric. This is, I think this is a do or die type game for Ryan Day. I truly believe that. You've lost the last two seasons. This isn't just about the playoff implications at this point. Jim Harbaugh, quite frankly, has just flat out coached Ryan Day the last 2 years. If Day loses this game, it could spell the last time that he has the opportunity to face Jim Harbaugh as an Ohio State coach, despite the great success he has had. And I know I have been on Ryan Day's case for a good portion of this year because I thought he was way too conservative. But there's no way that I think that Jim Harbaugh is a superior coach to Ryan Day. I think that if Ryan Day takes the gloves off and just goes for it, he's going to beat Michigan. However, I do think it is a do or die type of game, a ton of pressure on the Buckeyes and Ryan Day to get done this year.
All right, we have a comment here that I can't ignore. Jason, is that the legendary Woody hat? There's a listener for a while right there. He knows what the Woody hat's all about. You've got to protect the noggin.
You don't want to catch TTU in, man.
You don't want TTU in, so you got to put the Woody hat on. Very, very good, Jason.